All right, let's get into it. We're talking about a rivalry so intense, so deeply personal that people actually call it a war. But, this isn't a war fought with soldiers and tanks. Oh, no. It's fought with tomatoes, onions, spices, and some very specific long grain rice. This is the incredible story of the Jollof Wars. And I want to kick things off with a question that really gets to the heart of just how wild this whole thing gets. How in the world does a debate over a plate of rice escalate to the point where people are, and I mean this literally, calling for a high-ranking government official to be charged with treason? Because that's exactly what happened. This wasn't some joke. Well, it was kind of a joke, but it came from a place of real passion. This was an actual public outcry online. Just let that sink in for a second. Treason. Over a rice dish. And that intense reaction is exactly what we're going to unpack today. So what was the spark? Well, during a live interview on CNN, Nigeria's very own Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, got asked a simple question. Which country makes the best jollof rice? His answer? Well, let's just say it caused an absolute firestorm online, leading to those calls we just talked about. And that single moment, it perfectly sets the stage for this entire story.
Okay, so to really understand that level of outrage, you first have to understand the dish at the very center of it all.
See, jollof rice isn't just food. It's a cultural icon. It's a one-pot meal that's at the heart of celebrations, family dinners, and just everyday life all across West Africa. It's comfort, it's community, it's everything.
Now, lots of countries have their own amazing version, but the fiercest rivalry, the main event in this culinary war, is between two West African heavyweights, Ghana and Nigeria. And let me tell you, each nation is absolutely 100% convinced that their recipe is the one true, undisputed champion. At its core, this whole thing is what the sources call a friendly national rivalry. It's all about these subtle but crucial differences in how it's made. For instance, Ghanaians might use a fragrant basmati rice, while Nigerians often go for parboiled rice. But like we've already seen, just because it's friendly doesn't mean it isn't taken very, very seriously.
But here's where the story takes a turn. This is no longer just a local debate. What started in West African homes has completely exploded onto the world stage.
Yep. Thanks to the power of social media, the hashtag Jollof Wars just blew up. It turned a regional passion project into a full-on global phenomenon that people all over the planet suddenly had an opinion on. And suddenly, it wasn't just us regular folks arguing online. We're talking major international names and media outlets getting pulled into the mix. You had Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg chiming in, CNN's Richard Quest got involved. The Jollof Wars had officially made it to the big leagues. And this wasn't just happening on Twitter either. The rivalry spilled out into the real world. You had jollof cook-offs and heated debates happening in big cities far away from West Africa, like Washington, D.C. and New York. The diaspora took the rivalry with them, and the battle for jollof supremacy went intercontinental. Now think about this for a second. The back and forth got so big that an actual organization had to release an official statement just to address it. That's the moment you know a friendly food fight has reached an almost geopolitical level of importance. It's incredible. Which brings us to our final, and maybe most important point. This entire story shows us something much, much deeper about the power of culture. It's a fair question, right? With everything going on in the world, why should anyone care about who makes the best rice? Well, because it's not really just about the rice at all. It's about this idea right here, soft power. Basically, it's a country's ability to influence others not through force, but through attraction, through its culture, its values. And you know what? Food is one of the most powerful and delicious forms of cultural attraction out there. When you look at it this way, this playful rivalry is actually a huge vehicle for West African culture itself. Every single debate, every hashtag, every article about the Jollof Wars is basically a global advertisement for the region's incredibly rich culinary heritage. And this has a real-world impact. It puts West African food on the global map for people who've maybe never even heard of it before. It gets people curious about the region's history and its culture. And what's really cool is that even through all the rivalry, it actually reminds everyone of the shared history that connects these amazing nations. So when you boil it all down, it all began with something so simple and pure, a friendly argument over a much-loved family recipe. And from there, it grew, almost by accident, into this incredible tool for global cultural influence. It just goes to show you that sometimes the most important conversations can start with something as simple as a plate of rice. And that really leaves us with one final thought. The Jollof Wars proved how fast a local passion can become a global conversation. It really makes you wonder, what's next? What other regional treasure is just waiting for its moment to capture the world's imagination?